Hey, house guests, welcome to today's BB23 updates and spoilers. What's going on? Coming at you a little early today. Welcome to the Sunday matinee. If you guys are new here this season, I usually do my Sunday spoilers earlier in the day because Sunday is granny time. I'm going to be seeing my grandma today. So that's why. But just, be ready for that on Sundays. And then tomorrow we will be back to our normal early evening time. Eastern. But anyway, welcome. I'm glad you're all here. Our house guests of the day are John Chuan and George Lane IV, aka Gio Epe, one of our freaking OGs. Thank you both so much for the support. We could not do this without you, and we appreciate it so much. So thank you again. Romero said this is the first spoiler that he hasn't missed because he was working. That's awesome. Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. We have some crazy stuff to talk about. This week is just not letting up. There's a new crazy thing every day. It's been wild. But when we left off yesterday, Alyssa and Kyland are up on the block. So it's unclear who Frenchie's real target is. He's kind of shuffling around between Derek X, Travis, Alyssa, and potentially even Kyland. Who knows? I mean, he's just all over the place. I'm talking about Frenchie, not Kyland. So the power veto is going to be crucial this week because it doesn't even seem like Frenchie has a solid idea of what he's doing at this point. Anyway, we've also got lots of alliances forming. We saw the Slaughterhouse Alliance was solidified. So the Slaughterhouse is made up of the 5-person Butcher Alliance. That's like the inner core of Frenchie, Kyland, Christian, Xavier, and Derek F. And then you have the 3 extra house guests, Whitney, Brent, and Alyssa. Plus all the other people who know about it, which is almost the whole entire house. So that Slaughterhouse Alliance, I don't see it lasting very long. So many people know about it. It's going to blow up. It's a disaster. But in other news, we also have a Girls Alliance. Oh my God! We saw yesterday the Girls Alliance formed of Azza, Tiffany, Claire, and Brittany. I almost said Brittini, which is what I like to call her sometimes, and Brittany. So I have high hopes for that. I hope they're not going to disappoint us. We'll see what happens. We also have the exciting Cookout Alliance. Love it. Derek F, Azza, Tiffany, Xavier, Kyland, and Hannah's not like officially a part of that alliance, but I believe they are like looking out for her. Maybe they'll bring her into the fold eventually. But yeah, those are some of the new alliances that have popped up. And then there's lots of little like 2-person things going on as well. So they have the power veto player draw. We talked about that yesterday. Derek F is hosting, and the players are Frenchie, Alyssa, and Kyland. And then the 3 extra players, Tiffany, Travis, and Derek X, Lil D. Frenchie is pooping his pants with these picks because Travis and Derek X are 2 of his potential targets this week. So he's like, oh my God, this is terrible. So the house guests were waiting around for the power veto competition yesterday. Everyone was anxiously awaiting that. Alyssa and Lil D were stretching in the gym. And Alyssa's like, I don't know where your head's at right now, but if you were open to using the POV on me, if you win, I have your back 100%. So Lil D's like, let's see if I can even win a competition. Like, I don't know if I'm going to be good at these. I don't know if I'm going to be a comp beast. So let's just wait and see what happens. So Alyssa's like, okay, but in the meantime, think about what you would want in return game-wise for using the POV on me. Would you want a week of safety? Would you want 2 weeks of safety? Let me know. Get back to me. So then the feeds went down a few hours for the power veto competition. And again, players, Frenchie, Alyssa, Kyland, Tiff, Travis, and Lil D. I don't know what this competition was. I haven't heard too many details about it yet. I did hear that I believe Travis broke part of his setup right out of the gate. So it sucks for him. But we find out that Lil D, Derek X, won the power veto. What? So that was clutch for him because he definitely could have been going this week. The target was definitely on him quite a bit. So now the question is, what will he do with the POV? Is he going to use it on someone and risk his close ally and friend Travis going up on the block? Or is he going to leave the nominations the same? And one of Frenchie's own allies will be leaving. So it's interesting. I just remembered I didn't thank yesterday's super chatters, but I will get you guys at the end with today's super chatters. Sorry about that. I'm all out of sorts today. But anyway, Lil D was talking to Brent and Whitney and Hannah, his team Aces, and Brent was asking, all right, so what's your game plan for this power veto? And Lil D was like, I'm going to use the POV on Kyland because that's what Frenchie told me he wanted last night. That's what I'm going to do. And I already told Kylan before the POV that I would do that if I won. So Brent's like, all right, well, now we need you to do your due diligence and talk to Frenchie. And he says, do whatever Frenchie says without question. Ew. Let's not do this. Can we not do this? Okay, he's got power for like another day or so, and then he's a normie again. But Brent is still saying you have to do whatever Frenchie wants you to do. So Lil D is like, yeah, of course. Like, I know. Stop. So he says, I don't want you guys to freak out. If you see me talking to Alyssa, I don't want you to think that I'm like wavering at all. But Alyssa keeps pulling me aside to talk. And they're like, no, we get it. Like, she's up on the block. She's got to talk to you about potentially using the POV. But just like, stick to your guns. Use it on Kylan. Do whatever Frenchie tells you to do. So please don't let it turn into that kind of game. So then Brent says, actually, he keeps saying over and over, like, we stuck our necks out for you. We were vouching for you, even though you stabbed us in the back. What are they talking about? What did Derek X do to deserve all this? We have some more details on that, which we'll get to in a little bit. But bottom line here, Brent keeps telling Lil D to talk to Frenchie. Okay, so then Lil D and Brent chat alone a little while later in the yacht club. And Lil D's like, I'm trying to get him with Frenchie. Like, I see the rest of you guys on our team are good with him. I want to move forward with him as well. I want to be tight with him too. So it sounds like the issue was that Lil D tried to create an alliance outside of his team. Seriously? When there's all these other alliances happening? So it's a little ridiculous. But again, we're going to have some more details on the Derek X situation in a little bit. But Brent is like a freaking broken record. I'm getting sick of Brent. I got to be honest. He's like, it's a miracle that you didn't go up on the block this week because you stabbed us in the back. We vouched for you hard. Talk to Frenchie. Do whatever you want. No questions. Okay, so anyway, Alyssa comes in and she asks Derek if they can chat later, maybe like play some chess. Sure. I'm sure she really wants to learn how to play chess. I think that's just kind of like a cover, But anyway, she wants to give Derek some time to enjoy his win before he has to start talking game again. So then Lil D was alone talking to the cameras, and he says, man, Brent doesn't say anything new to me. What the hell is wrong with him? He says, can we have a clock that counts how many times Brent says, just do what Frenchie says? And he's like, bro, I know. Props to him for calling out Brent for that, but also it makes me sad that he's like, I know, I'm going to do that. So Derek also says to the camera, you can't pick your family. But I mean, they did pick their families. The team captains picked their families. So anyway, Lil D and Kylan had a game chat in the gym. And they were talking about how they still want to work with Frenchie 100%, even after what's happened this week. I think people's minds are going to change a little bit when Frenchie is not the HOH anymore. I think he still has that power over everyone at this point. But once somebody else is up there, they're going to be like, this guy is a lot. And we don't have to put up with it anymore. So anyway, Lil D says, Alyssa's going this week. He's already told Kylan, like, I'm going to save you with the power veto. So he's saying Alyssa's going this week. He's under the impression that she is definitely the target, which is not necessarily true. You never know what's going to happen. You never know who Frenchie is actually going to pick for his target. But at this point, Derek is convinced that it is Alyssa. And he's like, yeah, Alyssa goes this week, Christian next week. Don't drink the Frenchie Kool-Aid. Oh my God. So Kylan basically says, you know what? We should wait and see what happens. And of course, Kylan's going to say this because he's in that Butchers and Slaughterhouse Alliance with Christian. So he doesn't really necessarily want Christian to go next week. But they discuss who the potential replacement nominee will be. And I think Derek is pretty nervous that it's going to be Travis. He knows that there's only a few people that Frenchie's really considering, and Travis is one of those. So he's like, oh, Travis is my boy. Like, but Kylan's like, no, do you think it's going to be Travis? What? He's saying, I think it's going to be a girl that's going to go up on the block. Boo. But Lil D still seems willing to use the POV, even if Travis is the one going up on the block. It seems like he is more concerned with getting in with everybody else and doing what Frenchie wants than keeping Travis safe. You know, even if it means losing his closest friend and ally so far. So he says, my team would be pissed at me if I went against Frenchie after they helped to keep me off the block. So I got to do this. You know, I got to do what Frenchie wants. So, they feel like maybe it's better if they don't know for sure who the replacement nominee is going to be, because then they can say like, oh, I didn't know that it was going to be Travis going up on the block. All right. So Kylan also asks Lil D to give him a heads up if he's not going to use the power of veto. And Lil D's like, of course, like I would tell you, like I am planning on saving you, but of course I would tell you if anything changed. All right. So then Brent and Alyssa have a game chat in the living room, and he's telling her, you're in good hands. You don't have to worry. So Alyssa's like, awesome. You know, if this plan goes through and Kylan and I are both safe, I owe you guys big time, especially you, Whitney, Frenchie. You all made this happen. So Brent's like, yeah, it's going to be great. Derek is going to use the power veto on Kylan. And Alyssa's like, oh, not on me. He's going to use it on Kylan? Not me. Brent says, yeah, the only way to make this work is to keep you on the block. You were the bait this week. You know, Frenchie made that whole weird ass speech apparently about like getting the big fish and Alyssa being the bait. So Derek X is under the impression that you're the target. So if we keep you up on the block, then Travis is not going to be freaking out, and Derek X is not going to be freaking out, you know, thinking that Travis is the target, which it sounds like he kind of is, you know. So he's saying Travis will go up as the replacement next to you. We have the secret alliance, the Slaughterhouse, and we'll vote out Travis, and it'll be fine. So Alyssa's like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. I can't imagine. Like, I feel like she must be upset still that like she's gonna be the one staying up on the block. I mean, I would be freaking out. I know that. But Alyssa's like, okay, cool. I'll act sad to keep Travis calm up on the block, making him think that I'm the one that's going. She's still planning on talking to Derek about using the veto on her to keep up the charade, and to keep Travis calm when he goes up on the block. So Alyssa does have a game chat with Derek on the Sky Bridge, and she's like, I know you still haven't talked to Frenchie yet. I definitely want to check in with you after you do, because, you know, I'm sure you want to see like what Frenchie has to say, what he wants you to do this week. So Alyssa says, I want you to know I have your back 100%. If you're able to use the power veto on me, if you're able, then next week you're good with me, because if I win HOH, obviously you're safe with me. If anybody from my team wins HOH, I will have influence over them. And if I were to stay and win HOH, you don't even have to worry. So Lil D is wondering again, who would Frenchie put up as a replacement nominee if he uses the veto? So Alyssa's like, I don't know, like, would you use the veto on me or Kyland if Frenchie asked you to. She's pushing this would be a really good way to earn Frenchie's trust. Who cares? He's not going to be the HOH after this. Who gives a shit? But Lil D says, yeah, I probably would. You know, I want to keep the blood off of my hands as much as possible. I want to make sure my team is happy with me. I want to make sure everybody's happy with me. I want to be tight with Frenchie. So then Lil D's like, are you hip to some shit I tried to pull day 2? And that is a direct quote. And then the feed's cut. So we didn't get to hear exactly what he said after that. But from other conversations, it sounds like Lil D was telling people that Brent and Frenchie have to go. And that's like what he's all in trouble for. So then they talk again about potential replacement nominees, maybe Hannah, Claire, Travis. Alyssa feels like she could have a chance to stay if Kyland comes down. She's like, if the nominations stay the same, everybody's going to keep Kyland over me. I'm going to be in trouble. So she's telling Derek, even if you don't use the veto on me, it would be good for me if you use it on Kyland, because she feels like she has a good chance to stay against other people. So Alyssa's asking, would you use the POV if you knew Travis was going to be the replacement nominee? And she's like, I see it as no matter who's going up next to me, if Frenchie wants you to use it, you need to use it. No! So Lil D agrees. He says, yes, I would use it. And then he's asking, so do you think like you would beat out Travis in a vote? So she says, I don't know, but I would sure try my best. You know, I'd try my hardest. Yeah. So then later, oh my God, Frenchie and Derek X chatting in the HOH room. I felt like this conversation was never going to end. It was too much. So Lil D starts off by saying, I want to clear the air about how things went down on day 2. He was really paranoid that he was going to be nominated. And then, you know, they had the wild card competition. Christian obviously won that. And he said, after Christian won, I realized there weren't a lot of options left to go up on the block. And he figured it was down to him, Travis, or Brent. So he says, I had a really strong connection with Travis from the get-go. We both have spent time in Hawaii. We both work in the tech industry. So it was like we immediately clicked. So I felt like I had to throw Brent under the bus, even though he's one of my teammates. So that explains kind of like what happened there, I guess. I still feel like a lot of people were using him as a scapegoat, but yeah. Anyway, then Derek is saying, now I'm here with my team. We all want to play with you. I want to build trust with you. And I'm super thankful that you gave me a second chance, like even before we talked through things. So Frenchie's like, yeah, like, I just feel like you're a really good guy. Like, you're super witty. You're super fun, blah, blah, blah. So then Frenchie's saying, I don't want to influence you either way with this POV. Like, do whatever's best for your game. But, like, he's definitely trying to influence what he wants Derek to do. So Lil D says, I know you've already taken a lot of heat. You know, I know you don't want to get a lot of blood on your hands with this. He says, I'm willing to take the heat for this veto. Guys, I know you're all freaking out about the nickname Little D, but like he is aware of it and he seems like he's cool with it. It seems like everybody's cool with the big D, little D thing going on in the house. I just wanted to clear that up. But anyway, Derek says, you can just tell me what you want. I won't tell anybody what your preference is. Like, I will take all the heat for this veto. So they agree. They want the veto used on Kyland. They want Kyland to come down, somebody else to go up next to Alyssa. So Frenchie says, I want to bring everybody in one by one and ask them, like, who do you want to go up on the block next to Alyssa? I think Frenchie is trying to get some of the responsibility off of him, and he'll be able to say, like, oh, this is what the house wanted. So Frenchie asks Lil D, what would you do in this situation? What would you do if you were in my position? Who would you put up on the block? So Lil D asks, well, you know, he says that depends. is Alyssa a target of yours or is she a pawn? Frenchie says, hell yeah, she's a target. She's up there because I couldn't get Christian this week. And she is close to Christian. Boo! So this conversation went on for a really long time. Honestly, Frenchie needs to stop talking and just go to sleep. Go to sleep! I feel like Bethany Frankel right now. But seriously, go to bed, Wig. It's too much. He's giving out too much information. It seems like he thinks his HOH is never going to end. So Frenchie starts talking about how nobody would send Kyland home if he was still up on the block on Thursday. He's also like, oh, I got a soft spot for Alyssa because she really reminds me of my little sister. And he's starting to worry if he is going to go after some big fish this week and put up a big fish next to Alyssa. He doesn't want that big fish to end up staying. So he's like, you know what? Giving Kyland the power of veto, I'm realizing is kind of a waste. Nobody's going to vote him out. But Alyssa, on the other hand, might go home even if she's up next to a big target because she is associated with Christian. So annoying. So he's like, I feel bad for putting Alyssa up. She's a sweet girl. She didn't really do anything wrong. So I don't want to risk her going home. So, okay. It just gets wild. Frenchie's out of control. This next part is insane. You thirsty boy. You need to go take a nap. Like, seriously, he needs to take a nap, refresh that brain. He's been unraveling. So Frenchie is asking Lil D, like, what kind of protection do you have in the house right now? You just have like the two people, right? What do you got? Travis and Kyland. That's it. He's like, I can offer you more protection than just those two people. I am really close to your team, so I can get you in with them. Like, if you're cool with me, you'll be cool with your team. Oh my God. He says, I'm extending an olive branch to you. I'm not telling you to jump ship with your current situation, but, you know, if you come along with my crew, you could be here for a while and not have to stress. Oh, what? So, like, for 1 or 2 weeks? You can't give someone safety for, like, forever when everyone is involved in this, like, house-wide alliance. So, anyway, to paraphrase, Frenchie's like, I'm not telling you what to do with the POV. He said that a bunch of times. But he spills that the whole house wants Travis out this week. Uh-oh. So Frenchie is saying, you know, I got the numbers no matter what. I got a little over half the house. A little over half. Half the house would be 8. You got like friggin' 13 people or whatever in your alliance. But he's saying, I want you to be a part of that group. And he's saying, like, it's not a formal alliance. It's way too early for any of that, which you've seen because, like, you got caught trying to form an alliance. It's just crazy, too, that they're, like, trying to crucify Derek X for, like, trying to start some alliance when Frenchie has put together this almost entire house alliance. But anyway, Frenchie's saying it's not a formal alliance. We're all just hanging out. We're all just, like, friends, you know? It's just very condescending. Like, this whole conversation turned to very condescending. And he's saying you'd have a lot of fun. You'd be in a whole new Big Brother world. So Frenchie, again, is bringing up potentially keeping Kyland up on the block and having Derek use the POV on Alyssa. And Lil D does not want to do that. He's already told Kyland he would use the veto on him. He's like, I'm not going to do that to him. I already made a promise. I'm not going to go back on that. So that's cool that he's, like, staying with that. But then Frenchie almost kind of tries to, like, threaten him. He's bringing up that big group again. And he's like, I'll bring you into a room with all of them tonight. You'll see everybody who's involved in this. You'll be like, holy shit, I was about to go against all these people. Excuse me. So then Lil D's like, wow, that's awesome. It's so cool. He asks, can I still be in the group if I take Kyland off of the block instead of Alyssa? And Frenchie says, yeah, I'm just, like, giving you options. You know he's going to be pushing for this. So Frenchie says, he just keeps bringing up this big group because it's like he's trying to intimidate Lil D here with, like, the size of this group. So he's like, I've got 11 people in this group. And he says the other 5, it's not like they're, like, shunned or anything. If they had made the effort, they could have been in it too. Like, it would have been the whole house. this whole house alliance is bullshit. So then, you know, of course, Derek is like, yeah, I want to be a part of that. I want to be part of the group. So then Frenchie decides to bring Brent into the room to try and mend fences with Lil D because there's still some tension there. I gotta say, Brent and Frenchie are the worst. Little Jean-Ralphio there. These two have gotten super tight, and they are really obnoxious together. I can't deal. So Brent comes in, and Derek is like, I feel like you still feel very betrayed by me. And Brent's like, well, yeah, I feel like I have a right. This is some Tommy Wiseau shit. This is some, you betrayed me. Everyone betrays me. So they talk through all that crap again. Like, Derek is explaining why he threw Brent under the bus, why he was trying to form an alliance outside of his team. And then they start talking about working together. Brent is saying, like, yeah, we can mend these fences. We can work together moving forward. Brent and Frenchie basically tell Lil D, like, we need you to keep your mouth shut this week. Don't be spilling any information to Travis. We're getting rid of your boy this week. So if you can follow through on that, we'll work with you. Yikes. So Frenchie was talking to Lil D forever last night, and people were noticing it. Azah was pissed. She was venting to Big D in the yacht club, and she was like, look, I just wanted to shower in the HOH room. I was waiting to shower, and Frenchie told me he needed some, like, alone chill out time. That's fine. But then why did Frenchie go and pull in Brent to talk in the HOH room? Why was he allowed in there? He's not even on our team. Yeah. So she's also asking, why is Frenchie gaming so hard in the first place and leaving his teammates in the dark? Yeah. So I just want to bring up, remember when Azah was saying that she would go after whoever wins the first HOH competition? It's really unfortunate that they are on the same team, because that means she can't go after him for like 3 more weeks or whatever. But wouldn't that be sick? Oh my god. So anyway, she's saying, like, I love Frenchie. I'm going to stay loyal to him, but I'm not happy with some of the stuff he's pulling right now. So anyway, yeah, that was last night. The Power of Veto ceremony should be on Monday. That's typically when they do it. And it's going to be interesting to see today how everything goes down. I could still see a lot of flip-flopping happening potentially today. I feel like we will see Frenchie potentially continue to push for Alyssa to come down instead of Kylan. Hello.
Hello.
Right now, it seems like no matter what, Travis is the replacement. But again, that is subject to change with who we're dealing with right now. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out today. This is kind of one of the first, like, chill days.
Oh, yeah.
That they've had. But is it going to stay chill? I don't know.
Playing so hard.
Yeah, right. I also wanted to mention, because a lot of people have been talking about it on social media, this wasn't shown on the feeds, but I think it was Claire who mentioned it to the cameras when she was alone. I guess they were talking about, like, conspiracy theories, and Whitney is, like, a Sandy Hook denier, which just is absolutely insane and disgusting. But it was really making Claire question, like, what's going on with Whitney? And I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. So, yeah, I don't know. But anyway, I just wanted to mention that because everybody's been talking about it and I didn't want to leave it out. So, yeah, that's today's spoiler. I want to thank all of our super chatters because you guys are amazing. So first, for yesterday, we've got Jody Cortez, Broomstick, aka Fexy Ass JJ, Gail Murphy Comedy, Elizabeth Zarita, and the T of Texas. Thank you all so much. And I also want to thank today's super chatters, you guys. Thank you so much for the support. Gio Epe, one of today's house guests of the day. Yep. Florida Nana, thank you so much. Kathleen Quinn, thank you so much. And Jefferson Tucker, thank you so much. You guys are all wonderful.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So if you guys, one last shameless plug before I go, because I'm freaking hungry and we have places to be. this is not helping my hunger right now because I want to eat all of it. If you guys want to check out our plant-based air fryer cookbook, you can pre-order in the info below. Yay!
It's so healthy too.
It is very healthy, and there's some really delicious stuff in here. So if you guys want to check that out, pre-order below. But I want to thank you all so much for being here. Hope you all have a wonderful Sunday. We will be back tonight for the episode recap. It's not going to be live, but we will be posting a recap tonight. So that's it. Thank you all so much. And until next time, much love. Oh!